This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Right now it's 6 on Good Morning Indiana.
I'm hopeful that they were not stuck outside for too terribly long before they were found.
Puppies packed into a tote and left in a central Indiana forest. The important message those taking care of the dogs want you to hear.
It's just, what's it going to take? At what point is it going to be serious enough to make something happen?
A central Indiana community says they've been waiting for years to improve a dangerous intersection. We're working for you and getting answers about the project's holdup.
Treats nearly killed a Florida man's beloved dog. This morning, the treats that made little Max sick and what you need to do if something similar happens to you.
And they cover the walls of a central Indiana icon for decades. This morning, how you can own a piece of Indy history.
6 o'clock here on your Friday morning. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Meredith Barrett.
And I'm Lauren Casey. Want to get you ready if you're heading out the door at this hour. So let's check in with Alyssa Donovan. She's looking at a wet forecast for your Friday. And Alyssa, today's going to be kind of a washout.
Yes, it's kind of going to be a gloomy, gross day across central Indiana. If you're heading out the door this morning, definitely grab your umbrella. We are seeing areas of light rain across the area this morning. We're also seeing some patchy, dense fog. Temperatures starting in the 40s across the area. We are going to climb into the low 50s this afternoon, but I want to show you the main thing this morning is that rain and fog that we're seeing. We're seeing some heavier showers just along I-65 to the south of Seymour. The rest of central Indiana, a little bit lighter showers, just hit and miss showers this morning. That's all coming from this deep plume of moisture that's moving up from the Gulf. That moisture is helping bring in that patchy fog as well. We are seeing those visibilities down to just about a mile and a mile and a half at some areas. So just be aware of that as you're heading out. Temperatures today will start in the 40s. We'll climb close to 50 degrees this afternoon. Our next round of showers comes in this afternoon and evening. Then we do have a chance of some snow mixed in there as well by Saturday morning. All of those details coming up in just a few minutes.
Alyssa, thank you. Here's a look right now at a wet morning commute on the north side. You can see traffic here still traveling up to speed at I-465 and Ditch Road. But it looks like there's a lot of water on the road, so you'll want to use caution. Give yourself just a few extra minutes heading out there. Let's plan out your commute right now in Hamilton County, heading southbound on Interstate 69. Starting here at State Road 37, heading to the I-465 ramps. No delays. It's a 5-minute commute.
5 puppies found this week at a state forest now has one humane society reminding everyone there is no reason to ever dump an animal. That's because rescue groups in places like the Morgan County Humane Society will help you find a home for an animal that you don't want. These puppies were found on New Year's Eve at the Morgan Monroe State Forest south of Martinsville. The pups were in a tote with a sleeping bag and covered by a sheet. Thankfully, someone driving by saw it and went to see what it was. The Humane Society says situations like this can be avoided.
We will help you spay and neuter your animals. It doesn't matter whether or not you can afford it. If you have puppies or kittens, you can't care for them, contact a humane society, contact a rescue group. There are so many different organizations out there that can and will help you. Don't leave them in the woods.
For help with getting your pet spayed or neutered, you're urged to get in touch with the Humane Society or animal rescue groups where you live.
It is 6:03 new this morning. An arrest in a disturbing case of animal abuse in southern Indiana. A dozen dogs found shot and beaten to death on the side of the road. Jennings County investigators say that they were given the name of 30-year-old Cody Kreutzgens not long after a mother driving her children home from school made this grisly discovery back on February 28th. The dog's original owners told deputies that they had given the dogs to Kreutzgens, but the sheriff's office says that they couldn't make an arrest until they tested a key piece of evidence. That was a single glove found among the litter on the embankment.
We have to send it to the state police lab to get analyzed. Then if we have a suspect, we have to extract DNA from that person, and it has to be sent to the lab, and then it has to be compared. So it's pretty time consuming.
Police say Kreutzgens does not have a history of animal abuse. He is facing 11 felony counts of torturing or mutilating an animal.
A 14-year-old boy is in critical condition after police say he was accidentally shot by his brother. The shooting happened on Chamberlain Drive at 11 Thursday morning. That's near Keystone Avenue and Thompson Road. Police say 2 brothers were inside the home messing around with the gun when it went off and hit one of them. So far this morning, no charges have been filed in the case. The chance to take home a small piece of Indianapolis history is yours today as Ike and Jonesy's and Indy Icon prepares to close.
And this morning they're hosting an auction and selling almost everything inside. Our Kelsey Anderson is joining us live this morning with all the details on how you can take part in this auction. Hey, Kelsey.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, so it's definitely a bittersweet day for the owners here at Ike and Jonesy's as they prepare to sell absolutely everything inside their store. That includes the 15-foot Marilyn Monroes, the neon signs, the dishes, the plates, the tables, the chairs, the lights. Everything is what they're selling, everything that they've collected over the last 36 years. So we talked to Rick Eichholz, the Ike of Ike and Jonesy's, and he says he and his wife opened the bar in 1984 for the opening of the Hoosier Dome when Notre Dame played Purdue 36 years ago. He says now that a new landlord has come in and wants to turn the building into a Holiday Inn, he says he's not sure his bar fits that crowd. If you've been into Ike and Jonesy's, you know it's riddled with neon signs and memorabilia, and Eichholz says that's been the best part of owning the bar.
The real fun has been over in our 36 year, has been buying the things that I have put on the walls one day after the other, and people would bring me stuff and I'd frame it and put it up. That's been a ball.
He says when they opened the bar, they just had one sign that they brought in. So a big collection over the last 36 years. And they are auctioning all of it off. And that auction starts, well, you can come in today at 8 a.m. to kind of look around, see what you want to bid on. And then that auction starts at 10 a.m. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. New here on Good Morning Indiana, a Western Indiana community is mourning the sudden loss of a community hero. Rockville police say that Officer Rodney Smith died unexpectedly Thursday morning. The town's police chief says that Officer Smith was battling flu-like respiratory issues. Smith had been on the town's police force since 1988 and served in a number of roles. Officer Smith's services are set for Monday in Rockville. They are open to the public.
Another abandoned supermarket will again be filled with fresh food and other groceries. Needlers has signed a lease to move into the former O'Malley's at 126th and Gray Road on the east side of Carmel. That's according to Carmel City Council President Jeff Worrell. The store closed in 2017. It was owned by Marsh. Worrell is now calling on neighbors to support the store once it opens.
What we'd like to really say is that, okay, we got a grocer here, so now we've got to support it. So it's not just running over here for the milk or the eggs you forgot. We need you to buy your pet food, your Tide, everything here to really make this thing go.
Worrell says if everything goes as planned, the store should open this spring or fall.
It is 6:07. RTV6 is working for you and continuing to push for answers for people who live here near an intersection they call dangerous. Neighbors for sharing concerns about State Road 13 and 67 in Fortville back in November of 2018. The Indiana Department of Transportation approved the installation of a traffic signal and started to make that process happen. But now, more than a year later, there's still no light.
Just continued frustration, being told by NDOT that there's going to be a light, and as you can see behind me, there's no light. I mean, so far the accidents have been somewhat minor. I'm just afraid somebody's going to pay with it, for their life, and nobody wants that.
Well, we asked NDOT about the delay in installing the signal. According to a spokesperson, the department is waiting on a contractor to get all the supplies needed. When we asked why it's taking so long, the spokesperson says she's out of office till Monday and will get answers for us then.
This morning, new numbers show the results of a major push to make bus stops safer for children across the Hoosier state. Nearly 40 law enforcement agencies participated in extra patrols, leading to 453 stop arm violations and 1,200 more violations involving speeding. This all kicked off at the beginning of the 2019-2020 school year. The Stop Arm Violation Safe Grants effort was paid for the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration.
It's 6:08. The IU football program waited a long time for a night like Thursday. It's been 28 seasons since the last bowl win for the Hoosiers, and Indiana came up short again last night. A large crowd making their way to Jacksonville for the team's showdown against Tennessee. It was a difficult first half for both teams, and the Hoosiers trailed 6-3 at the break. But they would rally back, taking a 13-point lead and looking to be in control of the game. The Vols would fight to regain the lead in the fourth quarter, and a missed Hoosier field goal gave Tennessee the 23-22 win. It was yet another heartbreaking bowl finish for the Hoosiers.
This morning, warm January weather continues to put a damper on skiing in southern Indiana. Paoli Peaks in Orange County remains closed this morning. The ski resort opened for a few weeks in December before the surge of 60-degree temperatures melted their snow. The park says they will reopen once the weather allows for snowmaking. Perfect North in Lawrenceburg says they are open for skiing, snowboarding, and tubing.
Well, did you get a smart TV for the holidays? We're working for you this morning about a warning for the personal data it could be sharing. Alyssa.
And we are starting with some patchy fog and rain across the area. That's why it is a Storm Team 6 alert day. We're going to see a little bit of a break with the showers midday, but more showers move in tonight. I'll break down everything you need to know coming up.
Your budget stretches further at Mattress Firm.
Welcome back. It is 6:12 here on your Friday, and this is a live look over on the northwest side. Traffic here picking up at I-465 and West 38th Street, both northbound and southbound. No crashes over here to slow you down, but use caution. We do have wet roads for your Friday commute.
The historic wildfires in Australia are now causing one of the largest evacuations the country has ever seen. Navy ships picked up hundreds of people from beaches today. Thousands of others are urged to flee as warnings for extreme danger are in place for tomorrow. More than 200 fires were burning at last check, with strong winds and high temperatures moving in. These are the worst wildfires in Australia's history. More than 12 million acres have already been burned, and at least 19 people have died.
Less than 3 full days into the new year, there's already been another horse death at the Santa Anita Park out in California. The 4-year-old horse was injured during a race on Wednesday and became the first horse this year to die at the famed racetrack. Park officials say the animal was hurt in a possible collision with another horse. Nearly 40 horses have died at the track since December 2018. In the past year, Santa Anita has made safety changes, including restrictions on steroid, anti-inflammatory drugs, and race day medications.
Popular flavors of e-cigarettes will soon be coming off of store shelves nationwide. The Trump administration announcing the FDA is banning the sale of fruit, candy, mint, and dessert-flavored cartridges. The ban does not include menthol or nicotine flavors. The move is seen as a compromise. The Trump administration says it addresses the rise in teen vaping while keeping small businesses in mind. Sweet and fruity flavors made up about 80% of e-cigarette sales last year.
Now that the holidays are behind us, we can start stressing about other things like taxes. You may be tempted to get started right away, but experts say if you're expecting a refund, the best thing to do is wait a little bit. Employers have until the end of January to get your W-2 to you. Same goes for the 1098 form, which contains deduction information for expenses like mortgages and interest on student loans.
It was a big holiday season for smart TVs, and now that you probably have yours up and running, it's a good time to look at your privacy settings. The TV manufacturers may be collecting your viewing data and selling it to third parties. Also, TV makers that are partners with Amazon and Roku can use that data to deliver targeted ads to your TV, just like you see online. You can opt out pretty easily. Just go to your settings and you'll find an option for privacy preferences. Different brands might have slightly different names for the category. You can check the manual for more specifics. And I think it's safe to say a lot of people might be opting to just stay on their couch today and watch some Netflix. The weather is not very great out there, Alyssa.
Yeah, it's a good day for exactly that, especially this morning. We have gloomy conditions across the area. Patchy fog has developed across much of central Indiana. This is a look at our downtown west view camera. You can hardly tell that is a camera view. Right now, 46 degrees in Indianapolis. Part of the reason we are seeing all of this fog is due to that humidity, which is at 100% right now across central Indiana. So we are seeing that visibility down across Indianapolis. We're down to just a half a mile of visibility, down to just a quarter mile of visibility in Lafayette. And you can really see on this visibility map where that denser fog is developing. It's really to the north and west of Indianapolis. So if any of that area is part of your commute, you're going to want to give yourself some extra time, because that's where we are seeing some of that denser fog. Still seeing some light rain showers across the area this morning. We are seeing those mostly to the south and east of Indianapolis. Indianapolis along I-65 to the south of Seymour is where we're seeing those heavier showers. The rest of us just seeing some light showers yet. That's all due to this plume of moisture that's come up from the Gulf. As that moisture continues to pull up into the Midwest, we're going to continue to see some wet weather throughout the day. We'll see a little bit of a break midday, so still seeing some of those light showers right now, especially along the south and east areas in central Indiana. And then we are going to see a little bit of a break midday just as that storm continues to rotate. At that time, most of us will see some drier conditions, still cloudy though, and then we will continue to see a few spot showers for areas to the south. You're not going to be out of the woods for quite some time yet. By the late afternoon and early evening, that's when we see the next round of showers move in. We'll see those showers become more widespread, moving up into some of those northern counties, unlike what we're seeing this morning. And then on the tail end of that, we're going to see a cold front move through by tomorrow morning. So what does that mean? Potential of some light snow showers mixed in there as well. That's going to be on Saturday, the first half of the day. We're going to see some rain and then possibly those snow showers mixed in there. Highs Saturday only reaching the mid-30s. Now, if we do see that snow, only looking for a light dusting really on the high end, less than an inch of snow accumulation. By Sunday, things clear out, mostly sunny skies, and then we're in store for a little bit of a break before we see some more wet weather in the 7-day forecast. Today, areas of rain and fog to start. The good news is we have light winds. Highs today will reach the low 50s, so it's going to be another warm day. And looking at that 7-day forecast tomorrow, those temperatures drop off quite a bit. We're back into the 30s, which is really where we should be this time of year. Mostly sunny on Sunday and Monday, and then we do have another chance of a wintry precipitation moving in on Tuesday.
All right, Alyssa, thanks so much. Well, you mentioned the reduced visibility out there in areas to the north, and here's a look right now from our camera on I-65. This is a view just a little south of Lebanon, and you can see there the reduced visibility and the water on the roads from our camera. So just use caution no matter where you are this morning, as we have a lot of weather issues you'll have to contend with for your commute. Let's take a look right now over on the east side of Indianapolis. Our live drive vehicle is out on the road showing you what you can expect. Shay Goodpaster in the driver's seat, and this is a dash cam view of I-70 eastbound near Post Road. You can see the windshield wipers working pretty hard there this morning. Traffic is still traveling up to speed, so that is good news. Let's take a look over here from our traffic now map on I-65 heading southbound from the northwest side. It's a 17-minute drive, so that's traveling up to speed from I-865 to I-70 at the north split.
A Florida man says his dog nearly died after eating jerky treats he bought days earlier.
New this morning, Hannah Lee shows us the FDA investigation into those types of treats and what officials say you need to do right away if something like this happens to you.
A normally energetic and excited terrier mix.
He's not a lap dog like this. This is not my Max.
Tom Diuto says his dog...
Okay, I need you to sit. Good boy. There you go.
...is slowly craving food and water again. Last week, Diuto says Max nearly died after eating duck jerky strips and sweet potato wrapped with chicken-flavored treats, one manufactured in China, the other in Thailand. He says he bought the treats here at Dollar Tree on Thursday night, gave his dog several treats over the course of 2 days. Saturday night, he says Max was acting strange, having to go to the bathroom more frequently.
There's 3 or 4 in a bag, and he got the whole bag.
By Sunday, he couldn't move.
I woke up Sunday morning. It literally looked like a crime scene.
Diarrhea and vomit covered the floors in the condo. He got him to the vet Monday morning. He says after taking blood work, his liver enzymes were elevated along with his white blood cells.
I was like, okay, is that consistent with some kind of contamination or poisoning? She said, absolutely.
Since 2007, the FDA has been investigating the link between pet illnesses and jerky treats made in China, receiving complaints involving more than 6,200 dogs and more than 1,100 dog deaths. We reached out to Dollar Tree. A spokesperson says they take product quality issues seriously and are in the process of researching what happened. We also reached out to the treat manufacturers but have not heard back.
I wasn't sure who needed Xanax, him or me, but yes, it was very difficult.
And expensive. Max will be back at the vet in 4 weeks for a checkup.
It is 6:20. We've seen stories before about people taking out billboards to help get a loved one a new organ. Well, this morning we'll introduce you to one man who benefited from that campaign and how now that campaign is helping others. Let's take a look at traffic right now near the airport, I-70 here, where everything is traveling up to speed, both eastbound and westbound. We'll continue to keep a close eye on the roads as you head out the door to start your Friday. We'll be right back after the break.
At Ashley Home Store, this is home.
Welcome back. It is 6:23. Here's a live look right now at traffic from our live drive vehicle traveling on northbound I-465 there on the northeast side. Windshield wipers needed for your commute today. Give yourself that extra time for the wet roads. But overall, right now, I'm not monitoring any major crashes or delays to slow down your Friday commute.
Okay, one of my favorite news stories every single year when we enter a new year is all the babies that were the first to be born in that new year, new decade in this case. And these two babies are extra special. Jocelyn and Jackson Tello were born to Don Gilliam and Jason Tello. They were born 30 minutes apart, so they have completely different birth decades. Jocelyn arrived first, because ladies first, of course, at 11:37 p.m. on December 31st, 2019. Her twin brother, Jackson, was born at 12:07 a.m. on January 1st, 2020. Jocelyn was the last baby born at the hospital in 2019, and her brother was the hospital's first baby born in 2020. And
when they grow
they're
up,
from
they'll be
Carmel.
like, oh, I'm in the teens, or like, I'm a 20s baby.
Right.
Maybe like two different ones.
Right. So very cool.
Fun.
Yes. And I think that's so great for them being twins, but that's something that sets them apart.
Yes, I love that. Okay, so a man in Wisconsin is getting a second chance at life, receiving a life-saving kidney transplant. Back in September, Tom Bulow's wife, Karen, launched a digital campaign to raise awareness for kidney donation. I think we've had that story before, but here is the update. There were nearly 40 applicants wanting to donate their spare kidneys to Tom. Tom's donor is a complete stranger who says that that person saw a news story about this. The hospital where Tom was treated also is seeing an increase in donors. Hey, that's pretty awesome.
It is pretty awesome. And I know if you drive around Indianapolis here, there is a family, I believe it's donorfordad.com. Those folks are actually from the Atlanta area. So they are reaching out this far in order to find a donor for their dad. So cool. The lengths that people will go to in order to save a family member are pretty incredible. I think we would all do that in the same case.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
Something not so incredible though, our forecast for our Friday.
No, we had some nice weather yesterday, but it came with a price, which is today. It's raining throughout the day. We have that patchy fog across the area this morning as well. I think visibility last time I checked was down to just a half a mile here in Indianapolis, and then we do have that light wind. Between work and going home, there's going to be a little bit of a midday break where we just see cloudy skies. And then we do have light rain coming in this late afternoon, and then overnight we'll see that rain become a little bit more widespread. Highs today into the low 50s.
The holiday season is a time for planning our upcoming spring vacations. But if your next vacation involves an airline or a cruise, we have an important consumer alert.
Our John Matarese working for you this morning and showing you why families recently lost their vacation dollars, so that you don't waste your money.
This is the time of year many families book a springtime cruise. But if you plan to fly to that cruise ship, we have a very important warning so that you don't end up stranded with no vacation and no money back. Joan and Reggie Thompson left extra time for their flight to their dream Carnival cruise. But a 4-hour flight delay cost them $2,000 when they missed the ship. Their basic travel insurance covered only accident or illness, not delays.
Since it was the airlines and their fault, they weren't responsible for that.
So you purchased this insurance and thought you were good?
Yes.
Queen Jones and Sheila Smoot told me a similar story a year ago. They each lost hundreds of dollars when their flight to a Carnival ship was canceled due to bad weather.
Never was it explained to me that I needed to get insurance due to weather.
It comes down to what you want.
Katie Krieger is a travel agent. She sees missed cruise connections all the time and urges her customers to fly
The day before, because you never know. Mechanical problems, a pilot doesn't show up.
But that flight to the cruise should be just one of the things you think about in advance. Another thing, what if you get sick or injured while on the cruise? Will your insurance cover that?
Once you're in international waters, most of our insurance that we have personally does not cover you.
And she says never cruise without a U.S. passport in case you miss the ship or get stuck somewhere.
No passport, you can't fly. You can't fly to Bahamas. You can't fly to the Dominica.
It was the cruise of a lifetime. I wanted to go.
Sure, flying to the port the day before can cost a couple $100s more, but it really takes the stress out so you don't waste your money. Working for you, I'm John Matteries. Good morning, Indiana.
John, thanks. For more cost-saving tips and ideas, visit the money section of our website, theindychannel.com.
Now on Good Morning Indiana on this Friday morning, here's a look at your 6:30 news feed. A now former Warren Township school bus driver accused of choking a student is facing criminal charges. Eric Carter is charged with battery on a person less than 14 years old. Kimberly Kincaid told RTV6 the attack happened to her 8-year-old grandson back in November, and the family called for charges to be filed. That district released a statement saying an investigation found the driver did handle the boy inappropriately, but there was no evidence of choking. Carter was fired.
2 people face several charges after fleeing from police on I-465 and driving the wrong way. Traffic cameras caught a yellow Dodge Ram getting on the exit ramp at 71st Street Thursday afternoon. IMPD had been chasing the truck but called off the pursuit for safety reasons. Plainfield police say the truck eventually got off the highway and crashed into another vehicle at US 40 and Main Street.
A man is charged in the shooting death of an Indianapolis teenager. The Marion County Prosecutor's Office formally charged 29-year-old Dwayne Harris with murder, robbery, and felony firearm possession. He's accused of killing 17-year-old Leandre Lane in a drive-by shooting on North Franklin Road back in April.
The Humane Society with a strong message after 5 puppies were found dumped in a state forest. These puppies were found on New Year's Eve at the Morgan Monroe State Forest south of Martinsville. The pups were in a tote with a sleeping bag and covered by a sheet. Thankfully, someone was able to save those puppies. The Humane Society is reminding everyone they will help anyone find a home for an animal that you don't want. Here at 6:30 on our Friday morning, we don't want this rainfall.
Yeah, it is a Storm Team 6 alert day, and the rain is just coming down all across central Indiana. Alyssa Donovan is here to break down what we can expect the rest of the day.
Yeah, so we're seeing that rainfall this morning, and we're going to see it again this afternoon with a little bit of a break between there. Man, it is Friday, you guys. On the shortest week ever.
Are you sure it's not Tuesday?
I know,
yeah.
right? It feels like it. I'm all messed up. But the one thing I want to talk about right now is we just had a dense fog advisory come out. That's mainly for areas around Lafayette and areas to the north of that. That's because we are seeing that fog develop in those spots. We're also seeing some fog right around Indianapolis right now. We're down to just a half a mile of visibility, and we're down to just about a half a mile of visibility in Peru. That advisory is in effect this morning until 10 a.m. So we have quite a bit of moisture out there, which is why we are seeing that fog develop. Still seeing some rainfall across the area as well. Most of that is to the east and to the south of us. Some of those heavier showers are to the south of Seymour, moving across I-65. So if that's part of your commute, just be aware that's where we are seeing those heavier showers this morning. In the next couple hours here, we're going to see those shower chances drop off with just a stray shower possible throughout the midday hours. And then a better chance of seeing some heavier showers comes again later tonight, overnight, and into tomorrow morning. Tomorrow we also have a chance of some light snow in the forecast. Today our highs, though, still very warm and above average into the upper 40s and low 50s.
All right, Alyssa, thanks so much. We're keeping a close eye on traffic this morning. Our live drive vehicle is out monitoring your commute. Here's a look in the Fishers area, I-69 near 96th Street. You can see traffic is moving along up to speed this morning. Looks like it's not raining quite so hard right here at this hour. Just use caution as you're heading out there. We'll continue to monitor the roads and keep you updated on any delays.
Parents in Hendricks County are raising concerns about a local school district's policy limiting what parents can say on social media. The Northwest Hendricks School Corporation is standing behind its parent code of conduct, but the ACLU is calling it a violation of the First Amendment. Their policy says parents should not use social media to make rude or offensive comments or fuel outrage towards school staff or the school. The policy has been in effect since 2016. One parent tells Call 6 investigators investigates. The district handed out copies of the code of conduct at a December board meeting. The district says that was in response to, quote, inappropriate and disruptive behavior at the previous meeting. This comes after months of criticism from parents in the community over the handling of a sexual misconduct claim against a Tri-West high school teacher.
They're trying to silence us on speaking out against them and the way that they've handled the whole situation. I take it as we're trying to get things done. You know, they're not doing it, so we've got to find a way to get it done, and social media is the way to get the word out there that, hey, this isn't being handled properly.
Parents who violate the code of conduct can be removed from school property and banned from school grounds. The district released a statement saying that as far as that goes, quote, no action has or will be taken regarding what others may say or share on social media, but encourages civility in all forms of discourse.
Time now is 6:34. The latest numbers from IMPD show fewer homicides in 2019 compared to 2018. But the Fraternal Order of Police and other organizations say the city still needs to do more to address what they call surging violence.
There is a disconnect with the numbers that are being reported and how people feel in the neighborhoods.
Well, according to the Fraternal Order of Police, 153 people have been shot or stabbed in just the past 2 months. FOP President Rick Snyder says the city should form a commission on criminal justice outcomes so more violent offenders stay behind bars. Snyder also wants local leaders to look at the juvenile justice system and consider creating a public database to track criminal histories.
We're not making it personal. We're not pointing fingers at our judges, our prosecutors, or public defenders. What I'm saying to you is they're playing the cards that they're dealt. They're bad cards. And we need to get them help so they can make better decisions.
In response, a spokesperson for Mayor Joe Hogg said, quote, it's clear there's more to do. Together with our local, state, and federal enforcement partners, we begin 2020 with a continued dedication to making our city a safer place for all.
Next week, there will be another event to help connect former Celadon workers to new job opportunities. The Indiana Department of Workforce Development and Employee Indy will host a virtual job fair at 1:30 Wednesday afternoon. It's for employees impacted by the sudden closure of the trucking company last month. FedEx Express, UPS, and Online Transport are just a few of the employers that will participate. You can find a link to register by going to hiringhoosiers.com and clicking on this story.
At 6:35, the chance to take home a small piece of Indianapolis history is yours today as Ike and Jonesy's, an Indy icon, prepares to close. This morning, they're hosting an auction and selling almost everything inside. Our Kelsey Anderson is joining us live this morning with all the details. Kelsey, good morning.
Good morning. So if you've spent any time downtown, no doubt you've seen it. This giant 15-foot Marilyn Monroe obviously belongs to Ike and Jonesy, and that, along with everything else inside the bar, could be yours today as they set out to auction off everything after closing after 36 years in business. Rick Eichholz, the Ike of Ike and Jonesy, says he and his wife opened the bar in 1984 for the opening of the Hoosier Dome when Notre Dame played Purdue 36 years ago. He says now that a new landlord has come in and wants to turn the building into a Holiday Inn, he says he's not so sure his bar fits that crowd. He says he's sad to see it go, but thinks it's the right time for his family.
This has been the time of my life for me and my wife to open and run Ike and Jonesy's for the Indianapolis downtown customers. And you know, we had convention business that was incredible, that came back every year for 20, 30 years. This has been a ball.
Again, they are auctioning off everything from tables and chairs, dishes, silverware, TVs, and of course, all of the iconic memorabilia and the neon signs they've collected over the last 36 years. So the doors open here today at 8 a.m. to the public for people to walk around the bar, figure out what they want to bid on during this auction that starts at 10 a.m. here at Ike and Jonesy's. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. It is an eyesore that people living on the city's south side have been dealing with for years. The renewed call for action to have this burnt-out home torn down.
And ready or not, tax season is just about upon us. But coming up after the break, the reason experts say if you want a refund, it's better to wait a little bit. It is 6:37. We'll be right back after this short break.
Terribly exciting. That's why we do it.
Welcome back at 6:40. RTV6 is working for you to get an update for neighbors who are still waiting on the demolition of a house they call dangerous and unhealthy. Months ago, city officials say that this house could be torn down in 2020. Residents on Indy's South Side say that they've been working to get this halfway burned down home on the corner of Harlan and Kelly torn down for years now. In the past several months, they've ramped up efforts to get rid of this house after needles were found on the sidewalk in front of the home.
I've been in this neighborhood since I was 16, and I'm 27 this year. This house has been a problem since I was 16.
Please tear down the house. That would be the greatest thing they could do. I mean, we've been told for so long, but nothing. So when can we see action? Please.
A spokesperson with the city of Indianapolis says the house is set to be added to a bid list for properties that need to be torn down. The exact date has not yet been given, but the bid list is being put together as for the first quarter of this year.
This morning, police in Fortville are hoping someone knows who is behind vandalism at a new sushi restaurant. The owner of Bonsai Fortville says they arrived to work on Thursday to find someone had thrown rocks at the windows and door. Thankfully, nothing was taken. The restaurant had just opened on Main Street in November. They're not letting the vandalism slow them down, though, and will be open for business today.
It's 6:41. Now that the holiday season is over, it's time to start stressing about other things like tax season. You might be tempted to get started on your taxes right away, but experts say if you're expecting a refund, the best thing to do is to wait. Employers have until the end of January to send you a W-2. You can sometimes get the same information from your final paycheck of 2019, but if it's wrong, it can lead delays in processing any returns. The same goes for the 1098 form, which contains deduction information for expenses like mortgages and interest on student loans.
Wildfires in Australia are now causing one of the largest evacuations the country has ever seen. Navy ships picked up hundreds of people from beaches, and thousands more were urged to flee as warnings for extreme danger are now in place. More than 200 fires were burning at last check, with strong winds and high temperatures moving in. These are the worst wildfires in Australia's history. More than 12 million acres have already burned, and at least 19 people killed.
Tensions with Iran ramping up another notch this morning after the death of a top Iranian general. The details we're learning about airstrikes at the Baghdad airport.
And it is a Storm Team 6 alert day, not only because of the rain, but we also have a dense fog advisory in effect. All of those details coming up that you need to know. You're watching Good Morning Indiana. We'll be right back.
Iran's supreme leader warning there is harsh retaliation ahead after the U.S. killed the country's top general. The Defense Department ordered the president approved the deadly airstrike against Qasem Soleimani in Baghdad. After it, the DOD said the general was, quote, actively developing plans to attack American diplomats in Iraq. The department also accuses Soleimani of approving the attacks on the U.S. embassy in Baghdad earlier this week. The tensions between the U.S. and Iran now could potentially endanger troops stationed in Iraq and Syria.
This morning, the sports world is mourning the death of former Indiana University football coach Sam Weish. Weish coached at IU for one season before he left to take over for the Cincinnati Bengals. Weish may be best known for the moment when he addressed the crowd in Cincinnati after fans started throwing trash onto the field.
Will the next person that sees anybody throw anything onto this field, point them out, and get them out of here? You don't live in Cleveland, you live in Cincinnati.
Weish led the Bengals to Super Bowl 23 during the 1988 season.
As American Airlines negotiates with Boeing over compensation for grounded planes, it's promising to share some of the proceeds with employees. American had more than 24 737 MAX jets when the planes were grounded worldwide in March. Since then, it has canceled thousands of flights along with other airlines. Boeing says compensation could come in cash or other forms like help with training or spare parts. American says if it is cash, it expects to make some of it eligible for employee profit sharing. And if anyone is flying out today, maybe they were one of the lucky ones who have had the last 2 weeks off of work.
Yeah.
They might run into some troubles, though, Alyssa, because of the rainfall.
That's right, and that fog that we have developing across the area. Both of those are going to impact you this morning, and then we have another round of rain moving in tonight. But the main thing this morning is that dense fog advisory. As that next round of rain moves in tonight, we also have the possibility possibility of some snow mixing in there. More likely we'll see that by tomorrow morning. Just some light accumulation expected from that. So we do have that dense fog advisory in effect this morning. That's mainly for northwest counties. You can see Lafayette and Kokomo, Crawfordsville. That's because those areas are down to just about a half mile of visibility up near Peru right now. It says 6 miles of visibility in Lafayette, but I suspect that might not be gauging right with that sensor there. We're also down to just about a half mile of visibility in Indianapolis right now. But you can see that fog is widespread across the area, so give yourself some extra time as you head out the door this morning. Still seeing some light rain across the area as well. Most of that has been isolated this morning to southeast counties and up into some of our eastern areas. And then we are going to continue to see that taper off over the next couple hours here. All of that is coming from this deep plume of moisture that's moving up from the south. That moisture is going to take a little bit of a break midday as it just starts to continue to rotate. And then we do have another chance of rainfall moving in tonight. And then we are going to see the potential of rain and snow mixed in by tomorrow morning. So here's a look at TrueCast. As we head through the morning, you can see a lot of us are going to see a little bit of a dry out by midday, continuing to see some stray and spot showers for areas to the south throughout that midday hour. And then Indianapolis, you'll start to see those showers once again by the late afternoon and into the early evening. That's when those showers will become a little bit more widespread, becoming even more widespread overnight and into our Saturday morning. That's when we'll see the potential of some snow mixing in there as well because of a cold front associated with this low pressure system taking our temperatures down. So today it's going to be a warmer day. By overnight and into tomorrow morning, we're dropping close to freezing, which is why we do have the potential of some snow, light snow in there. If we do see any accumulation, it will be less than an inch. Sunday, we're clearing out with that system. 44 degrees for the high, mostly sunny skies. That sunshine will stick with us for a couple days. Today, however, not going to see any sun. We're going to see cloudy skies throughout, rain and fog this morning, starting in the 40s. We'll climb into the low 50s this afternoon. We'll see that midday break, and then those showers move back in by the late afternoon, early evening, and overnight. Tomorrow morning, starting with that rain-snow mix, mostly sunny on Sunday and Monday, and then another chance of rain and snow is back in the forecast for Tuesday.
All right, Alyssa, thanks so much. Here's a live look right now from our live drive vehicle traveling westbound on I-70 approaching Emerson Avenue. Here on the east side, traffic is moving along smoothly. As you can see, no major issues to slow you down. The only crash I'm monitoring at this hour is on the west side at Washington Street and Lyndhurst Drive.
This morning, 2 former Indianapolis Colts players are just one step away from a spot in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The 15 finalists for the Pro Hall of Fame class of 2020 were announced last night. Reggie Wayne and Edgerrin James both made the list. This is Wayne's first time on the ballot. The inductees will be announced February 1st.
Well, it was a tough night at Bankers Life Fieldhouse for the Indiana Pacers on Thursday. After a strong first quarter, the Blue and Gold couldn't get enough stops on defense to slow down the Denver Nuggets. Indiana was led by Jeremy Lamb and his 30 points, but it wasn't enough as the Nuggets won 124-116.
It was a better story for the Purdue Boilermakers last night, though. They survived a thrilling game against the Minnesota Golden Gophers at Mackey Arena. Matt Harms scored 26 points and grabbed 9 rebounds to lead Purdue to a 83-78 victory in double overtime. Boiler up.
On New Year's Day, one Central Indiana woman celebrated a big milestone. Just ahead in Good News Friday, we'll introduce you to the 107-year-old granny and her secret to longevity. You want to stick around for that story? We'll be right back.
Days from 4:30 to 7.
Well, we have reached the end of the work week, and that means it's time for the return of our favorite segment, Good News Friday.
Each week we highlight positive and uplifting stories, and today we have a great one to share.
A Johnson County woman is making quite a milestone. This New Year's Day, she celebrated her 107th birthday.
Rafael Sanchez reports on the matriarch and her secret to longevity.
Ada Pearl Bergen Hogue is well known in the halls of Homeview of Franklin.
I can walk around. Hi, Granny. Hi, Granny. Hi, Granny. Hi, Granny.
So I take it you're Granny.
I'm Granny.
She's known as Granny or Aunt Pearl. Born in 1913, Woodrow Wilson was president. She's lived through 16 other presidents and more runnings of the Indianapolis 500.
What does it mean to be 107?
I'll be 107.
And what does that mean?
But you're getting old.
Over the decades, she loved making quilts of all colors. Here are just a few. Her secret to longevity, her faith, her marriage of 64 years, and a diet which is sprinkled with drinking 2 to 3 cans of Coca-Cola and eating Fruit Loops cereal.
You know, I've had patients that are in their 80s that can't do what she does. She exercises every day. She walks all over the building several times a day, especially to the Coke machine for her Cokes that she thinks that she needs 2 or 3 a day of.
On New Year's Day, she made her birthday wish, gathered around the people who know her best. She's never FaceTimed, texted, or tweeted. That's because she's been busy, living, loving, and building a legacy with her family. Working for you in Franklin, Rafael Sanchez, RTV6.
Oh, happy belated birthday, Granny. And get this, she has 18 great-great-grandchildren, 30 great-grandchildren, and 15 grandchildren. She is also the mother to 5 kids.
Wow. Well, she decided at the age of 105 that it was time to live in a nursing facility.
Oh, well, I don't know about you guys, but I think she has many more years ahead.
Yeah, no, she's looking good.
Yeah, she's looking really good.
Yeah. I like the Coca-Colas and the Fruit Loops, though.
Yeah, I don't know about
I love that. I feel like that always happens with people like that.
Exactly. They're like, oh, I've been smoking cigarettes for 80 years or whatever. Yeah.
Good for them. That's awesome.
Yes.
So, all right. Today in the forecast, though, not the best news.
The forecast is not awesome. We have a Storm Team 6 alert day. We have a dense fog advisory this morning for areas to the north. Fog is really widespread across central Indiana right now. We have some light rain this morning. More rain expected by this afternoon and evening. We'll see a little bit of a break midday where we're just seeing cloudy skies. Highs today still warm. We're in the low 50s again, but then we cool way off overnight, which means we have the potential of some snow mixed in with our rain by Saturday morning. If we see any accumulation, it's going to be very, very light.
All right, Alyssa, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. We're back here in 25 minutes and all throughout Good Morning America with news, weather, and traffic.
We hope you have a great Friday and a wonderful weekend.